everyone, this is Angela with LostInReviews.com here at Lollapalooza 2012, and I'm about to start the day off with our interview here with Kevin Devine. How are you?
I'm good. Hi. How are you?
Good.
Good.
How is this playing Lollapalooza this year for you?
So far it's been awesome. We got in last night and played with Dr. Dog over at Lincoln Hall, which is like a beautiful, newish, kind of small theater here, large club, and that was great. And they're awesome, nice guys. And I'm actually on tour right now with two other Philadelphia bands. They're from Philly, Dr. Dog. Two bands, Me Without You and Buried Beds.
Right.
And so they all know each other, so it was kind of cool to leave the tour and come here and play with another part of their extended family or whatever. And then we play in like 2 hours. And so far, I think the most stressful thing about this stuff is getting here.
Yeah.
Once you're in, and you're like, all right, I can do that.
Went smoothly, now
Yeah.
you can just relax a little bit.
Exactly.
Yeah, definitely.
So.
Speaking of being on tour, you haven't toured with your band in 6 years?
No. The reverse. I hadn't done a full U.S. tour as a solo artist in about 6 years, which is what I'm doing this summer, and the band is on the Lollapalooza shows. Most of the first 3 years I toured, I did a lot of solo stuff, and then most of the last 3 years, it's been predominantly band stuff. So it kind of flipped. So it's kind of nice to go back to that, and then it's also kind of a jolt to leave that to come back to like the full kind of rock set thing. So.
We're from Kansas City, and I think you just recently came through Lawrence.
Yeah, we played in Lawrence at the Granada on the 17th of July. And I was in Kansas City at the Record Bar last September as headlining. Yeah, that place is fun. Yeah.
Oh, I love the Record Bar. But you are going to be playing today with the full band,
Yes.
the Goddamn Band, which, I mean, I don't know why you have to be so mean to them.
No, I think that makes them sound cooler than they are. Quite frankly, you'll meet these guys. They're not that cool. And the name that I gave it. No, I was listening to a lot of like country music and punk rock music in about 2003, and when I was starting this thing where I was going to start playing with other musicians, and I didn't, since I was doing most of the touring myself and writing myself and arranging myself, I felt comfortable having it be under my name, but I didn't want it to just be my name when I'm playing in front of people with other people, because that seems a little weird. So that name's become like the catch-all for whoever else is on stage, basically. And there are some firm members of it for sure, but it kind of rotates. And the Goddamn Band, it sounded like something Hank Williams would have called his band, or some sort of cowboy punk rocker, neither of which I am. So, yeah.
Well, at least you can act like it for a while.
That's right, I can try on the clothes.
So I've read that the way that you make music is sort of how people think of a 9-to-5 job. You go in every day, sit down and work on either music or lyrics. Can you tell me a little bit about that process?
I try to, although I wouldn't want to insult a 9-to-5er by saying I do take probably more liberties with my schedule than they can, which I'm really lucky. I was, and probably someday will be again, a 9-to-5er. I've worked in many jobs till I was about 26 before touring became enough of a sustainable way to make money that I was able to leave those jobs. But yeah, whenever I'm home from tour, because touring is its own, it is a wonderful job, and I'm not complaining. People don't want to hear it, but it is work. It's a different kind of work, but it's work. And when I'm home, to try to kind of keep the shift from tour to home is always pretty jarring. So to kind of keep the muscles in shape, I'll go into our studio space, especially if I'm trying to write for a record, and I'll just kind of work, whatever comes out. Sometimes garbage comes out, and sometimes really good stuff does. But we're there from I'll go in from 1 to 8, not exactly 9 to 5, but, and then if I'm into something, I'll stay till whenever. And just, it's a way to keep some sort of routine in place.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you get to make your own hours. That's good, at least.
I feel very blessed about that. And I mean, it's a way to keep sane too. If I'm making music, I feel a little less anxious and neurotic than I normally do. So
your newest album, Between the Concrete and the Clouds,
correct.
Your 6th studio album, correct?
Correct.
I really like how you tell a lot of stories with your lyrics, and I wanted to know if you have some kind of multiple personalities going on, how you get so many stories to come up with this, specifically the one about the older man who's dating the younger college woman in
Sneak. Yeah. I guess that most honest and simplest answer would be, when you write, always it's coming through your prism. It's like your brain, your mouth, but it doesn't always end up being explicitly about you. Some of those things are from experience, and some of those things are from perceived experience, watching other people's lives, and some of them are not like a brand of journalism at all, but they're just fiction. They're from. It's kind of easy to imagine. I think if you sat with it, I don't think it's a special thing that I can do. I think the more you live and the more experience you accrue, the more you realize that people's lives can get pretty complicated pretty quickly. We can make one or two choices and then all of a sudden realize we're about 300 miles off the wrong road. And so a lot of the stories tend to come from that kind of thought process.
So you definitely kind of take stories from your friends and family and people around you a little bit and maybe exaggerate it a little bit.
Yeah, I try to mess them around so it's not, I don't want to slander anybody. And also from my own experience too, but I don't want to write a journal. I want it to be writing, and so I don't write like, I'm sad, or I slept with this girl, or this girl broke up with me, or I think this, some of the political songs actually end up being more personal, because that's pretty much a way to say this is what I think. Yeah. But often I try to, even if I'm using I and you, I'm not necessarily talking about me and you. And I think playing with pronouns gives you a lot of liberty too.
Well, I really enjoy it. The political songs too, I was going to ask you, if there's anything that's stirring up your imagination to write songs in the media right now, with everything politically going on, with elections coming up. I mean, we don't have to get into all of that. I'm just wondering if there was anything particular that sticks out that makes you want to just go write a song right now.
It hasn't really come for whatever reason, and it's a highly politicized time, and obviously we're leading into a pretty big election, and there's a lot happening in this country that seems pretty regressive to me about the way we treat immigrants, and about the economic disparity between have and have not. And the Occupy movement is really interesting to me, flawed but really interesting to me, and a lot of good stuff there. And I've played at some of their functions. But actually, the songs that have come out, they're not explicitly political in the last 6 months or so, but there's little things that sneak into them. I'm not especially moved or interested in the presidential election. I obviously have a preference, and it's not the former governor of Massachusetts, but I don't really, in a lot of really important ways, I still really feel like, especially as American political influence continues to become more and more corporatized, and our foreign policy is more and more sort of imperial in nature, I don't really see a lot of fundamental differences between the two in really important ways, in terms of like gay marriage and women's reproductive rights, and those things absolutely, and those are important, but they're important here. What we do everywhere else, and in terms of where the money goes, I feel like sometimes it feels like you're watching The Wire. Like it is ultimately, I think they're all the same. And so I'm not super moved by either candidate. And I feel a little alienated by that, because it's like a massive thing that's happening. And a lot of our peer group is very moved by President Obama, and was in 2008. And I am moved by aspects of him rhetorically and symbolically more than I am by his actual substance as a change agent. I don't think he is. So that's how I feel. How those things are expressing themselves in songs, I'm not totally sure yet.
Well, that's very well put here, so maybe you'll figure out something a little different.
Maybe I don't have to. It's just that said.
To change the mood a little bit here, you also produced and co-wrote with Andy Hull Bad Books,
Sure.
a new album, or the self-titled album, Bad Books. I love that album.
Thank you.
And I was actually listening to it not even realizing it was you at first.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
But I wanted to know if you've had any chance to work on any new material with them?
We have a second record that comes out October.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's to my mind, it's better than the first record.
Oh, very cool.
I think it's a lot better than the first record. I think people are going to really like it. Yeah, so it comes out, and we'll do some touring in October.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, I hope you have a really great set here. I think you're going on at 2, right?
2:10.
2:10,
Not that anyone's going to see this before.
Well,
then,
it's
but
streaming
2:10.
online.
Oh, they are. 210.
But it will. You're right. It won't
here
be on.
in the weather.
We won't have it on the internet at this time.
Yeah, fair enough. So
Go back and watch it.
Yeah, go back.
But I hope
in
you have a
time.
great set. Thank you for sitting down and talking
you.
with me.
Nice
This
to
is
talk to you
Kevin
too.
Devine and the goddamn band.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right. Thanks.